Yeah, no, excited to get going here. I know our players are extremely excited. They've worked very hard to, get themselves in a position to take on the schedule. And, I think they're tired of playing each other, so we're extremely excited for opening weekend. And it's something you look forward to every year. And I think we're in a really good spot heading into the weekend.
Right.
Coach, you brought in some pretty good pitchers from other schools through the transfer portal. Is there any one or two guys that's really caught your attention?
Well, I think this weekend, so I'll just start with that. So our rotation would be Tate McKee, and Tate's throwing the ball extremely well. And so excited to, give him the ball on Friday night. I think he's totally earned that. Brady Jones, one of those transfers you're talking about, is going to start on Saturday. And then Riley Stanford, one of our guys from last year, is going to start on Sunday. So two of the three are guys that, came here from the jump. Brady is one of them that, transferred. But I feel really good about the depth of our pitching staff. I think a lot of those older guys will throw in relief. And a lot of our freshmen have really, made good strides. Holdovers from last year, probably the guy that's, kind of made a jump through the best I've ever seen him throw last weekend was Carson Ballard. So feel good about him. And then, Caden Gaudet has thrown the ball really well. Barfield's back from last year. Patel back from last year. So the other guys have just given us tremendous depth, but, I'm very excited to watch our pitching staff this weekend, see how they perform.
What strides has Drew made going into his second year of college?
He's a year older. He's got a lot of just games under his belt on what, college baseball looks like. I never have to worry about him. He's probably the hardest worker on the team, and nobody wants to win more than Drew does. And so he's just, he's just continues to improve and get good, and we're happy that he's on our side for sure.
You have a top freshman class, a lot of players coming in, new faces. Makes the competition pretty interesting. Are there any positions, field positions that you feel still are up for grabs right now?
I'll say it like this, the best laid plans of mice and men can go awry, and they have gone awry a little bit this week. And so there may be some guys that get a chance to play this weekend that we weren't counting on playing. I'll say it like that. But the freshman class has been very impressive, and whether it's position players or pitchers, I think that class is very talented. It's deep, and you'll see some of those guys for sure, this weekend. And I just think, moving forward.
You guys are picked 10th in the ACC. I feel like that's probably a little silly, right? Like, does anybody really know what anybody has this era of college athletics?
Yeah, probably not. It's called preseason for a reason, and but I do think our conference is really, really deep. If you look at last year with 4 teams that made it to Omaha, how many teams got picked for the NCAA tournament? Chances are with some of the leagues, if the Pac-12 not being in existence anymore, maybe the ACC and the SEC gets a few more teams in the tournament. I would think that probably could happen. They asked us to do a preseason poll, and when I filled my poll out, I could probably pick 3 teams that I think have a chance to win, the outright title, but then I can go from probably 4 to 14, and you're like, okay, what's going to separate these teams? So, you have to play the games. That's the interesting thing is you just never know in baseball what's going to happen, and you need to stay healthy, you need to catch a few breaks, and you need to play well.
One of those freshmen, you have Alex Hernandez. He's a guy that can probably play multiple positions in the field. He can pitch. Could he be another like Cam Jones type player?
I think for sure Alex is really talented, and you'll see him doing both things. He is one of them that unless something happens in the next 2 days, you'll see him with a bat in his hand, and you can definitely see him pitching some this weekend. He's an impressive freshman and very mature, and has played extremely well in the fall and continues to play well right now.
Coach, what's your expectations for this year?
My expectations is just really for us to just take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and do everything we can with what's in front of us that day. I do feel like we'll always play hard, compete hard, just represent ourselves in the best manner. But I think this is a team that just needs each day, each game, each week just to continue to get better because we are relatively young in college baseball. But I think our standard never changes, and we want to play up to that standard every time we play.
And you talked a little bit about Drew earlier. Could you tell me what you expect to see out of him this year?
Oh, I hope he's first team All-American again, the Conference Player of the Year. That's what I hope, and it's not easy. You got to play the games and perform. But I think the biggest thing that I would not worry about him, but I don't want him to feel like he has to carry the team, even though he would want that type of pressure. I just kind of want him to be able to relax and play his game and hope that we have other guys that, he kind of brings up to his level of expectation and level of play.
And what makes his play so special?
This place,
His play is so special.
his play, he's just good at everything. Like he has power. He's a great defender. He's a really good hitter. He's good in the clutch. He likes these bright lights. He just has the it factor. I'll say it like that. And to expect him to repeat what he did last year, that's a pretty big number. Like, you go over there and look at that wall and see who's played here and how many home runs they've hit and things like that. Like what he did last year is at the top of what somebody's done in a single season. So I don't think we can expect that, but knowing him, he's going to do everything he can to exceed that.
Development is naturally a part of every good program. You look back through your history here, you've had guys that have come in and then by the time they left, they were maybe a different player than what you thought they were going to be. Parker Brocious seems to be one of those guys that's developed a little each year and moved his way up the scale. What do you see from him?
Parker Brocious has had an outstanding preseason. Like he has played as good as anybody on our team, and that's to his credit. He's kind of taken some of those steps each year to get better, get more playing time. He got a good taste of it last year, but I fully expect him to be in the middle of everything good that we have a chance to accomplish this year. He's played extremely well. One thing I will add, and this is totally off of preseason, but Mark Teixeira is going into the College Baseball Hall of Fame tomorrow night. He'll get inducted in Kansas City. I also think that they are recognizing Veritek. Veritek was selected and inducted during COVID, but I think that they're kind of doing it in Kansas City for him tomorrow night. And I think Jim Morris was also COVID, so he'll also, I think, be recognized at that banquet tomorrow night in Kansas City. But it's a big deal. I think we've had 3 players get inducted. So Nomar, I think, was the first, Veritek the second, and now Teixeira, and then former coach Jim Morris. So it's pretty special.
What does that mean to just be associated with a name like that going in?
Oh, it's awesome. I think for me, like I got a chance to coach, Garciaparra and Veritek just 1 year. We played for the national championship, unfortunately lost. But those were 2 great players. I did not recruit them to Tech. I, was able to coach them when I got hired. Teixeira was probably, one of the most important recruits we've ever gotten in my tenure here. So to see him go in, like not a better guy, not a guy more passionate about Georgia Tech than he is. And, I'm just extremely proud of him, but extremely fortunate to have gotten to spend 3 years with him.
Awesome.